Hey, happy to be back in Philly, man.
Yes, sir.
I'm mad love for Philly. Our morning show career started here in Philadelphia on 100.3 The Beat.
Now, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this, and I always say this to Charlemagne, and I always say this to people. I'm gonna say this. This man makes so many fucking moves for people behind the scenes in this game. It's crazy. Most of the time that I call him, if I call him 15 times, it's for somebody else, to put somebody else's show on. I introduce him to a lot of podcasts that's making some big noise now. Before they was moving, I call him, yo, please. And he the dude that when you call, yo, I got this going through here, plug him in, Wallow. And it's just that. He always looking out, he always on some solid shit, and he put a lot of fucking people on. Some people won't admit it. They start fallouts or whatever, but I just want to let you know I love you, bro, because you always taking people call, and he always willing to mention even if it's up, and they don't even be that deep to him. And that's what we need, more leaders like that. Dollie, boss lady. Make some noise, Dollie.
Happy to be here. I'm happy to be here.
Now, y'all stepped in the podcast space and y'all stepped in series. What is Black Effect? What do it mean to our culture?
Go ahead, Doug. You're the president.
It's the Black Effect. It's a all in-house podcast network that this guy right here created. When he came up with this idea in 2020, September, I got a call one day. I'm at home making candles, doing nothing. And he's like, you want to run my podcast network? And I'm like, what is a podcast network? Like, I never knew. I come from a TV and film background. I didn't know what that was. And I'm like, sure, yeah. I just said, yeah. Next thing I know, we're doing deals, we're putting things together, and we have a full-fledged podcast network that we're launching, like 20-something shows in the first year. So it's a one-stop shop for podcasters, Black podcasters, Black voices. It's a company that's 100% Black staff. All of our voices are for Black people. So we want to represent every facet and every form to let people know that we are not a monolith. We think differently, we feel differently, we express differently, and we have different thoughts. And here we are, going into year 4. We just ended year 3. We have about 30 podcasts that's live. We've launched more than 40 so far. Some of them are limited series. But it's a place for us to be free, to speak freely, and to make money. More than 75% of our revenue go to our Black creators, and we love it here.
Yeah, and what do y'all look for? Because there's a lot of podcasters in the audience, man. And what is y'all always looking for?
I'm always looking for somebody to have an authentic voice, you know what I mean? Like, I think that we live in an era right now where people see things working for others, so it's a lot of mimicking going on. But I always tell folks, man, there's no longevity in that. Like, in order to have a long, sustainable career in whatever it is you're doing, there has to be a certain level of authenticity to it. So I'm just always looking for somebody who's got a unique story. Like, I don't need another, you don't need another 85 South show, we don't need another Horrible Decisions. Like, what is your unique story that you have to tell and bring to the table? And I think nowadays in podcasting, I'm really looking for people that are teaching folks something. I think that we're in the era now with thoughtfluencers. I think the era of influencers is kind of coming to an end, because the era of influencers is like, what are you really influencing people to do? Some nut ass shit? It's like we're in the era now where people are like thoughtfluencers. I need to know how you're motivating people to like change their life in some way, shape, or form. Like, what type of game are you giving people? That's what I'm looking for.
Now, one thing I noticed what y'all do a lot of times, y'all do a lot of audio deals. Now, why did y'all say we going to, because you always say, wow, I just want to do audio with them. I ain't worried about that. That's big. Because to be able to say, I'm going to go over there to Black Effect, I'm just doing audio parlay, but they ain't got nothing to do with this YouTube, this audio, so I can do whatever I want to do over here outside of the partnership with you. Why do you even want to go with the visual too?
For me, it's because, and Dollie might have a different answer, but I mean, the money is really in the audio as far as the advertisers are concerned, but also, I don't want to take everything from a person. That's not saying that we're taking anything. We're partnering with people, but I'm encouraging people, man, don't give up this revenue stream. If you already got your YouTube and your video, or if you want to do your YouTube and your video, let us help you build your audio up. Let us help you, let's put this promo and this marketing behind your show, and simultaneously you can be pushing people towards your YouTube page. That's a whole other revenue stream for you. You know, so I mean that was my mindset with it. And plus I'm an audio guy, I'm the radio guy, so I'm used to people listening to what I got to say. So I'm just an audio person.
Yeah, I think to add to that, in the audio space, our partner at The Black Effect is with iHeartMedia, right? iHeartRadio. So having that huge machine partner with us, they're number one in audio. They know the audio space. We are an audio company. It only makes sense to stay in that space, maximize and grow the podcast on that end. And we've done that. We've done that for many shows who, like he said, have huge followings on YouTube or their digital platforms. And we've tripled or quadrupled their growth on the audio streaming side where it's more income that they have coming in just from streaming.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people now, they're getting into the podcast game, and they're getting into the podcast game by launching their podcast via YouTube, which is cool, but that's not really a podcast. It's not
a podcast. A podcast is audio.
It's audio. That's a YouTube show, which is fine. I think you should have both. I think, YouTube is for marketing and for promotion more than anything. But if you're launching a podcast, like your podcast should be audio driven.
What do you think we're missing in the Black podcast space? Like what categories is we missing? Because we dominate certain categories, and in certain categories we don't even have no existence. If you look in the category space, and I'll be like, damn, if we came in this category, if somebody came in this category, they'd be number one.
Yeah.
You got all type of. What do you feel we missing?
True crime.
I was gonna say that. True crime.
Which is crazy because all of y'all need to know some criminals. Listen, and y'all know some real criminal stories that y'all be telling.
Well, what's the name? In 2019 when Shaka Zulu was over at Spotify, he said that to me. He said, "Why ain't nobody on there telling hood stories? We destroyed the street literature when we had the street novels. Why ain't nobody like a motherfucker? You just go in there and talk about Boo Boo and Raheem around the way.
Word.
You could go and read you probably could go and read case files about stuff and just read it off the case file, because we got so many interesting stories. We got could you remember when we had the street novels? We also had the love novels. We had all the romance, the black joints. Nobody's telling. I believe if you had a love podcast, women would listen to that shit all day.
Yeah, true crime and anything audio scripted. Like, I have Black Effect, but then me and Kevin Hart, another great Philly native, we have a company called SBH Productions with Audible. And the first project we put out from there was a true crime audio documentary called Finding Tamika, and it told the story about a young lady who got killed in South Carolina in the early 2000s. And that podcast did incredibly, well for us. I mean, we won major awards for that podcast and everything. So true crime is definitely the genre that's missing from the black podcast space.
When you look, like right here, I'm looking at the top charts, right? When you look at the charts, you see all categories. We got comedy, it's a news. We don't, society and culture, we in there, business, true crime, we in there, sports, we in there, health and fitness is good, religion and spirituality, arts, education, history, you can get history over too, I think.
But you're looking at the Apple?
Yeah, I'm looking at all the categories.
What's the number one?
The number one, listen, Black Effect got the number one podcast in the fucking world on Apple. Right now. Native Land Podcast. Yo, listen. That's major.
Yeah, it's powered by the same people, but that's a different vertical. We launched a vertical called Reason Choice Media, and that is strictly going to be for news and politics. So the first podcast we launched this week, it was Angela Rye, Andrew Gillum, and Tiffany Cross, and it's the Native Land Podcast, and it's the number one podcast in the world right now.
On
the Apple charts.
We got fiction. We ain't nowhere in fiction. Oh damn, this is like a sister finding the brainy. But
true crime. I mean, think about it. Look how shows like BMF were doing. Like BMF was based on a true story. You got to think there was a time where every crime story was rooted in like the Italian world. It was something with the mafia. Yep. It was Goodfellas, Sopranos, or
we didn't have no place there.
Name it. We didn't have no place. But now it's like the street stories are being told. The black street stories, like our stories are being told. Like, and it's not glorification to me, but it's like, yo, if they done made all that money off their true crime stories, why shouldn't we?
What about Uncle Mike and them? We could do Uncle Mike from around the way, his shit, and what he was doing.
Who?
Uncle Mike. I'm saying I'm just using.
Oh, you're just using it.
Uncle Mike?
Uncle Mike was getting money.
Frank Lucas?
No, Uncle Mike had that barbershop and he had that work. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, but how do you feel about media? You've been in media for years. What is the status of media these days? And I ain't talking about a podcast. I'm just talking about Like, you know, like we had AJ up here for the shade room. Like, what is the status of it? Is there still space available? What do you think about it?
I think we need more trusted media outlets. I think that every day our realities are being played with. You know, I think that we're in an era right now where the lines between what's real and what's not real are blurred. But I think when you start implementing stuff like AI, those lines are about to be obliterated altogether. You know, and I think that we are in the information age, but is the information you're getting correct? Like, you know, how do you cite your sources? How do you know the things that you're actually taking in are actual facts? So for me, I don't know how I feel, man. Like, you know, I don't know how many trusted sources there are. I don't want to speak in front of mixed company, but I really don't like the worldwide nigga net, you know? Because I feel like, man, there's so much stuff on there that's just not real. Like, nobody cares about the truth and the lie is more entertaining. So I think people are focusing more on entertainment than they are truth. So, you know, I don't know how many trusted sources we have out there in media nowadays.
Yeah, and that's important. But now going back to the black effect, where is y'all at? Because there's a lot of networks out there, but I see that y'all like the only people out here doing deals. Then you remember me? You had some long 3-hour phone calls talking about when Spotify laid all the people off. They laid like 300, the whole podcast division off, and we was talking about the mega deals that like shit me and you got. It's like, do you feel as though the mega deal is dying?
That's all it did.
Yeah, I mean, I oversee the network at a very high level. So all of the deals, all of the podcasts, all the contracts that come into the fold, it comes here first, right? I'm the first stop shop for that, even negotiating and all of that. I don't want to say that the mega deals are dying, but that's not something that's realistic when you come into the Black Effect. Okay. We assess numbers. If you're at an already existing podcast, we go by data, we do research, we understand where you are, the potential amount of revenue that you can bring in, the potential amount of revenue that we can bring in, and we make that make sense for how we restructure the deal. So it's one of those things where I think if you can find that pot of gold somewhere, go for it. With the Black Effect, it's more so realistically what you have, the leveraging, what the numbers look like, what we can provide. We guarantee all the brand sponsors for all of our partners. None of our partners have to go find money for their shows. We bring on sponsors that are Nissan, that are Coca-Cola, that are Pepsi, that's AT&T, that's State Farm. These are American Express. These are all partners that's a part of the slate currently. Not Pepsi, guys. That was an old partnership. But we secure the money and the dollars for all our brands, but we have to make it make sense for them to make money, for the company to make money, and it has to balance itself out. So again, if those deals are available, go for it. But here at the Black Effect, we're going to be keeping it real.
Yeah.
And we're not giving you $30 million unless you're Wallow and Gilly and $1 million worth of game.
And even Wallow and Gilly is a very unique circumstance. I think that me and Wallow talk about this all the time. The biggest issue with the podcast game right now is expectation. And that's because everybody lying. Yep. Everybody lying about all this money that they received and all of this money that they're getting, and that's not the reality of the situation. It's not like 4 or 5 years ago. 4 or 5 years ago, people didn't really know what they should be paying, certain podcasts or paying certain talents. So everybody was getting some pretty good bags.
They didn't know how to measure it.
They didn't know how to measure it, but now everybody knows exactly what individuals should be getting. So is there money in the podcast game? Yes. But if you think that you're going to make hundreds of millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars just out the gate, no. But the reason I say people got to take their expectations down is because, man, you're getting paid to talk for an hour a week, an hour and a half. If you can get $50,000, $100,000 a year, $250,000 a year, whatever it is, if you can get that kind of money just to run your mouth once a week for 40 weeks out of the year, take it.
Yeah.
Take it.
Because you're going to run your mouth anyway.
You're going to run your mouth anyway. You on social media giving away all that free content, you might as well do it, through the podcast form. And the reason I say people like, what Wallow and Gilly have done is so unique. I think a lot of times we have a lot of conversations about our worth, but I think we got to start having conversations about our value, because your value to a situation might be greater than somebody else's value to a situation. When Wallow and Gilly bring the boss through, they need that. Like they were in a situation where they had lost a lot of big podcasts. they had some things swirling around about racism and everything else, and they needed what Wallow and Gilly bring to the table. And also on top of that, forget that aspect of it, Wallow and Gilly do numbers. like they do numbers, not just audio-wise, but
social media.
Yes,
and it
everywhere.
doesn't happen overnight.
No.
It doesn't happen overnight. It never does. It takes time. Like all of the most successful podcasting, if you do your research, they've probably been doing that show for 7 years or more.
Yes.
Consistently without a check or consistently without viewers off the top or listenership, they've been committed to that weekly or more for 7 years or more.
How long have you been doing
We only been since 19, but we've been doing it consistently.
But they've been consistent.
And you gotta understand, like, what happened was we was doing it by ourselves, and when we was doing it by ourselves, all the athletes and people was like, when it hit, like, come through. When the pandemic hit and everybody was locked in, we was on a plane all over the country, getting the top. Like, if you think about some of these guys wasn't doing interviews. 21, Thug, Floyd, them dudes hit us up like, yo, we trying to get on the show. So we went out and just went hard at this shit, and we just was heavy on social media.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like
at a time when people were heavily consuming social media too. Yeah.
So we had the numbers, and everything is about numbers and finding your time, because me and him had a long conversation about somebody he was looking at, or even probably did something with, and they was crazy on social media, but their audio numbers was trash. So sometimes it don't translate. You got to know where your audience at. Your audience might only be YouTube. Audio, you might be ass. You know what I mean? So you got to be able to really step in. We got to understand the podcast space is this. This is where the money at. You got number one, audio. You got number two, and I'm not putting them in the order. You got video. You got number three, you got merch. Number four, you got touring. Like number five, you got brand deals. Because you could be doing your thing and you could be killing them strictly off merch. You could be destroying it. Make sure you get a podcast shirt or hat when you go outside. Or some airplanes, hotels. But I'm telling you, that should keep the lights on. You could just be destroying them off merch. Or you could just be destroying them off doing tours, or just like once you get a nice buzz, you from it. One thing about this, I always tell people a lot of times, I'm not knocking where nobody is from. But where we live at in America, over here on this East Coast, you live in Philly, New York, but this is the only place in America where you can hit 5 cities in like 3 hours. The only place where you can be, like if you live on the East Coast, whether you're doing music, whether you got fashion, if you focus on, for real, if you focus on New York, that Jersey, Philly, Delaware, Baltimore, and DC, you can make it. Shout out to Baltimore, baby. You know what? I'm gonna say this, hold up. Something happened today. Now, earlier, it's a little mixed thing. I was a Baltimore Ravens fan. Now, let me just explain this. Hold up. Big Dom, shout out to Big Dom and the Eagles. Just morning, what happened was, they called me, Big Dom and the Eagles, they called me and Gil down to the facility to talk to the team, and I went back to Eagles fan. I'm just saying, like, I was down there, listen. I'm gonna say this. I gotta say this. Shout out to the cooks in the cafeteria at the Eagles. They had some great sandwiches. Them motherfuckers, I had like 3 of them. And the pizza was good. I wasn't even gonna leave.
So all it takes is the food for you to become an Eagles
fan? No,
fan?
I was down there with the team. I got reintroduced to the team. Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly, baby. So,
if y'all lose, they win here.
No, they gonna win. Trust me, they gonna win. I told
If
you.
y'all lose, one day you gonna be back rooting for the Ravens.
No, listen, but I'm gonna say this though. Yeah. But I'm gonna say this. Like, if you look at it, them is the 5 ways that make money off of. You can be killing on merch, you can be doing, and the reason I say this over here on the East Coast, you can just be destroying these cities. Once you get popular enough and you target and you focus on those certain cities, you can be doing shows, and then it could be 200-300 a spot. It could be those spots you can start. Because once you create a great show, a live show, they're coming. They're going to talk. What's the name of it? Poor Minds.
Yeah, Poor Minds did it, and to that point of 85 South and 85 Media, because that's where their shows. 85 South show, they were doing comedy clubs, now they're doing arenas.
They're doing arenas.
Selling out by themselves and headlining. It's possible to make money in different ways of avenues for in podcasting and not just like streaming or video.
But what 85 South show is doing is so incredible because everything they do is intertwined. Like, you know, when they put out their Netflix comedy special, it debuted at #1 on Netflix. And, you know, Dollie and, you know, everybody at Black Effect, everybody at iHeart, they wanted, you know, what they were doing audio-wise to coincide. So they did like a promo and marketing blitz that week for 85 South show as well. They ended up having the #1 podcast in the world that same week too with Black Effect and iHeart. So they've just figured out a way to do everything as one collective, and it really works for them.
And I think people a lot of times be afraid to promote their shit. Me, I promote all day. Unfollow.
In the rain,
out
in the snow.
Listen, you gotta listen. Whatever you got going on, you gotta put it in their face. The people that meant to be there, meant to be there.
That's right.
Just keep changing. You can promote the same thing 10 different ways. Keep changing the messaging. If like I see people all the time, damn, I got a clothing line. No, you don't. Man, why? You ain't got your shit on. Fuck you mean you got Gucci on, bro? What are you talking about? You don't even believe in your shit enough.
You have to believe in yourself, and you have to.
Everybody up there got brands on that they own. You see what I'm saying? So we all own us right here.
Yeah.
So my thing is like, once you start your show, whatever, wear your brand, create a dope logo, have that shit on the video, have it on your Instagram, have it on your social media. Stop being fucking scared.
You gotta have a DJ Khaled level of annoyance when it comes to promoting your stuff.
Got that shit on.
Like, yes.
That's right, yo.
Absolutely. Word.
You know what I mean? Now.
That's Baltimore right there.
Yeah,
I heard that T.
That's
for y'all T.
Yeah.
Inside the stage.
Now, Dollie, how is it for you being a sister and you going in the rooms and the big corporate giants telling them, I need this, I need this, I need this? How do you do this?
Well, you know it's me, and I'm the boss, so it's easy. But
That's what I'm talking about.
to be
Make some noise for that.
that.
That's my sister.
To be very frank, it's like I've been in the entertainment industry since 2008. I started out in music at Def Jam, and then I made my way through TV and film. Now I've made my way into podcasting and the radio audio side of it. So I've learned a lot. I've experienced a lot. I took in a lot. I've observed and understood a lot about this business from intern to assistant to president within a 10-year span. So it's one of those things where the confidence is there. I know how to.
Oh, you said intern to assistant. You were used as in the intern, freestyle.
Yeah, I started out as an intern.
What was the importance of going in there showing your value and your worth?
I've always authentically been me, and it's very important in showing your value. But you know, I think that comes with a clear understanding of who you are and what you can provide and the value that you have, and you just authentically give that to any room that you're in. And when you can just stand in being who you are, it translates, and people see it, they understand it. I literally went into Def Jam as an intern and got hired within 4 months to be the third assistant to Ellie Reed.
That was amazing.
And then from there, I got an assistant job in Nick Cannon. From there, I went into TV and film, and then I met this guy in TV in 2010. And then 2020, here I am, president of the Black Effect Podcast Network.
It's amazing.
So, you know, being in those rooms, I just, you know, with my experience and learning so much and being so observant, you understand how to ask for things and how to speak up and how to know to ask for things, and you always shoot for the stars because you're gonna land amongst the moon at some point.
That's right.
But you ask for what you need, you go for it with no regret, no hesitation, and you get it.
And then you gotta have people that can execute. Like, I'm an idea guy, right? I'm an idea guy. I can come up with an idea, but you gotta have the right people and the right team around you to help execute that idea. Black Effect was an idea, but I knew that if I could get Dollie and, you know, partner with Dollie, let Dollie run this network, we would have some extreme success. You know, 4 years later, we literally are the biggest Black podcast network in the world. Like, that's not hyperbole.
I already know. I know.
The numbers.
Make some noise.
The numbers and, you know, we got a staff of what, 14? 12. We got a staff of 12. Dollie hires everybody. I tell brothers all the time, man, if you really want your business to be successful, let a woman run it.
That's right.
Women, a black woman, you know, in particular, but you can't lose with that formula. And everybody at iHeart our staff, right? They compliment what we've built with the Black Effect. Like Dollie's being humble. They call Dollie for everything now. Not even stuff that got to do with just podcasting, right? But that's because of who she is. Like everything she talked about, from being an intern to being an assistant, all of those things prepared her to be the president of, what is soon to be a Fortune 500, company.
That's major. Now let me tell y'all, a lot of times.
If you don't mind, I would like to add that I think when you're also in those rooms, you can't see yourself any less than anyone else in the room. I don't care who's in the room. It doesn't matter. You can be the owner of the company, and you've been in rooms all the time. I'm on the same level as you are. I wouldn't be sitting at this table.
That's right.
So when you see that and you feel that and you give that energy, what else do you expect?
Make some noise for that, y'all. Damn. That's good. A lot of times we got to take game from other people. And one of the greatest things that I learned is how to listen. You got to listen while you're winning. I got a call 2 years ago. Charlamagne was like, "Wow, when you going to be on this date?" I said, "What do you need me to do?" He said, "I need you to be in New York City. I got a mental health festival conference." So I said, "All right, cool." So I'm going through New York. Listen, I hate fucking New York traffic, but I got to drive because I want to get out of there quick. I'm not taking. So I'm going through this, and my phone just be ringing. He said, "Nigga, where you at? Everybody waiting for you." I pull up, I get there, A.G. Herbo coming at me to the joint. I'm talking about, our people was in there so deep. It was a mental health conference. It was free. I'm talking about, he brought some great people from our community there that's doing some great things there. That's why I created this. Because he gave me the game and the wisdom and said, not just I'm going to do it for free for our people. And he showed me the example of what it could be when we educate, and how eager our people are to learn about new things or things we need to, and it was like, when I loved about that, it was a family meeting in there. People cried, people talked to their story, nobody was afraid to speak about just to be vulnerable and transparent about what we've been through in the ghetto. So I just want to thank you, because there's no PodCon if it wasn't the mental health expo that you throw in New York City every day. That was major. And I just think we got to stop. I think we got to learn how to remix shit. We can't see things as successful. Like he said, I said, okay, let me remix it and do something different. But the most important thing was, we got to start making information and vehicles free for the community in order for us to grow. They got to be free, because when it's free, people going to come, they're going to learn, and they're going to feel satisfied. Nothing is worse than paying your money. You like, man, the motherfuckers got on the stage and just talk about all the money. They didn't tell me. You know how many things people go to? How many courses people took? How many lifestyle things people bought into? And I'm like, and I tell people, you never seen them working. You just seen them lifestyle photos and shit on Instagram. That's your fault you bought that course.
And after a while, people get tired of watching you make money, telling them how to make money, and they not making no money.
And everything you told them don't work.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So me and him had a long conversation about that. It was like, yo man, we got to continue to do stuff. This is just one of many different. I'm talking about, I got like 5 different conferences I'm gonna come with, and I'm gonna call my friends. I ain't gonna call you all the time. I ain't gonna burn you out.
I'm here. Wallow called me. Wallow said, "Yo, I'm doing PodCon. Say less."
And he can't. And it was 5 minutes. I said, "Send me your assistant information." Boom. He said, you know what he said that was so hard? He said, "Oh yeah, Dollie, hit Dollie."
Yeah, he volunteered me.
I hit Dollie. Dez hit Dollie my email. Dollie was like, "This is the first time we're hearing about this." But she said, "I'm with it. I'm down. We got to educate our people." So my whole thing is about we can do any fucking thing, man. I swear.
Anything. I want to expound on what you're saying, Wallow, because like we do the Mental Wealth Expo every year in New York City. I've been doing it for like 3 years because it's a passion of mine. I've always been open about my struggles with anxiety, bouts of depression, things like that. And the reason I wanted to do the Mental Wealth Expo, and the reason I want to make it, why I made it free for everybody, is because I need y'all to get that information. I want people to get, the same access to resources that I got access to. Like a lot of times people have these conversations about mental health and they want to go to therapy, they just don't know where to go. When you partner with corporations like a iHeart, right, that's what you use them for. Like partnerships, like they're making billions of dollars. The least I can do is throw an event for my people for free.
Yes.
There's another event that Dollie came up with that the Black Effect does every year called the Thrill of Possibility Summit. Tell them about that.
Yeah, so the Thrill of Possibility Summit in partnership with our amazing partners, and I don't say this because I'm shouting them out, I mean that they are in the trenches with us, is Nissan. And they commit so much, and not just money-wise, they just commit so much time and effort to anything that we want to do with the Black Effect. So I'm an HBCU graduate. I'm not sure if anyone else graduated from the HBCU. So I graduated from Winston State, so I understand the need, for the HBCU students, the institutions as a whole. And we created this summit that we do in Nashville. We fly out anywhere from 50 to 100 HBCU students, and we put them up for a weekend. We throw a whole, a welcome party for them. We do a whole day of summit events of partnerships. So just talking about career preparation, how to get ready for them for their resume. We do free headshots. We do anything and everything to prepare them for careers and moving forward in their life and how we can help. Throughout, this is the second year we've done it as of last year. I think we've gotten maybe 3 hirees and 4 or 5 internships out of that year. Looking forward to see what we're doing with this year, but we bring David John Hope Ryan, Debbie Brown, people who are making impactful moves and wanting to help others, and they're giving their time, and we create this space for these students, and it's the most valuable thing that when in being in this position, it's okay, I'm having fun, we're making, we're doing something, but it's no, damn, we're helping. We're giving back. We're in the community. We're being of service. And at the first event, I cried. I was oh my God. The kids were thank you for this. We would have never had the chance to meet some of these people or even feel confident about ourselves and moving forward in our career, in our schooling and all that. So it's just a phenomenal event that we get to do every year. This year will be year 3. That we get to be impactful in the community and help people that look just like us.
And the reason I brought that up, and I wanted to bring up the Mental Health Expo and the Thrill of Possibility Summit, because once again, we live in this era where all of us are entrepreneurs and everybody's having these conversations about entrepreneurship and owning your own thing, and those are all fantastic conversations. But if you own 51% of something like we do with the Black Effect, you're still ownership. So what do you do when you're in these type of partnerships with these, multi-billion-dollar corporations? You make them put their money up to do things like that. You see Wallow and Gilly running around the hood giving out millions of dollars.
We gave out $4.3 million.
Because y'all told Boston what y'all need to be doing.
All I did was walk in the room. Erica was like, Wallow, you want to do something? Yeah, I said, I need some money, Erica. She said, what you trying to do? I said, there's a lot of businesses that ain't getting no money because of the pandemic shit. They got hurt. She said, I got some money. I said, how much? She said, a few million. I said, what's a few million? I'm talking about, this wasn't a 5-minute conversation. She said, I got about 4 or 5 maybe. All right, let's do it. She set up, they set up the team of fact finders, making sure all your paperwork was right when you filed. And the names just came out and we just gave them money away.
That's the value of partnership. That's how you use a corporate partnership.
A lot of people will be on social media trying to make you think that you ain't supposed to ball up. A lot of people be careful, man. Partnership is where it's at because you can leverage their resources, you can utilize their funds, and I'm telling you, man, when you go in there, they never gonna tell you no. When you really doing some real shit, ain't nobody never tell us no for anything we want to do. I'm talking about nobody. So I just think it's important to partner up and people find somebody. And a lot of times we gotta partner up with each other. I'm looking at this room. There's about $30 million companies in here right now. But listen, let me say this. The reason I'm saying that is because you got to know your strengths and respect your weaknesses. There's somebody here that know administrative, that know how to run the whole thing. There's somebody here that know taxes. There's somebody here that know graphics. There's somebody here that know video, and that's a team of something. I don't know. A media team. You got food businesses. You got clothing. But a lot of times we don't know how to say, you know what? I don't know everything, and let me bust this money down. Because listen, 100% of some bullshit is bullshit.
That's right.
All the time.
That's right.
Straight up. Everybody, I got it myself. I'm gonna do. No, man, I'm not doing it. I always tell Charlamagne, I told you, I'm not doing that by myself. For what?
Nah, unity and group operation is where it's at. I say it all the time. If anything I'm building only benefits me, it's not big enough.
I mean, so what game you want to get to people before you get them out of here? Because I know you got to get back to your wife for it. You got a curfew. No. I'm giving you some game. We want to ask you questions.
Don't get it dead.
Calm down. Sit down there. I'll tell you what. You know how I used to do security back in the day. I get you out. Get him out of here. I broke it up, you know what I mean? I ain't gonna front, man. I remember the security guard tighten me up one time back in the club.
For really, before you knew karate?
No, I actually knew it, but what he did was he deactivated my karate because he wasn't playing. And I said something tough because I thought a couple of homies was with me, but they dipped it, man. Next thing you know, I was in the air.
Damn.
You know what I mean? I really, that day I believed I could fly.
Damn.
You know what I mean? I was on some dumb shit, but yeah, pause, my fault.
What was the pause?
I don't even know. I don't know what is. I gotta call.
Security guard tightened him up from the back. That's
Oh, yeah. He's the worst. I'm calling Cam. I gotta call Cameron. I gotta call him. No, hold on, don't say that. Pause. But no, dedication.